Hello and welcome to another Themify tutorial. My name is James, and in this video we are going to learn how to create a property listing website using the Themify Builder Pro plugin. Now, in order for the Themify Builder Pro plugin to work, you will need to make sure you have the basic Builder plugin installed, or simply use any theme from Themify. For this video, I'll be using the Ultra theme from Themify. And for this particular video, we do need to install one other plugin, and that plugin is called Pods. This plugin will allow us to create custom post types and custom taxonomies to go with them. So to do that, we'll hop on over to the plugins portion of the dashboard and choose Add New. And just go ahead and search for Pods. It will probably be the first one that comes up. It's called Pods Custom Content Types and Fields. As you can see, I've already installed that plugin on this website. Once you've installed and activated the plugin, you'll want to click on Pods Admin over here on the left side. Then we'll click on Create New. And for content type, we'll leave it as Custom Post Type. For singular label, we're going to choose Property. And for plural label, Properties. Click on Next Step. And real quick, we'll hop over to the Advanced Options tab, and we'll scroll down a little bit and just click on Featured Image, just to make sure I don't forget to do this later. Then we'll come back to the Manage Fields tab, and we're going to create some fields for our property listing. The first one I'm going to create is called Size. And for the field type, I'm going to choose Plain Number. Then I'll create another one called Price. I'll choose Plain Number for this one as well. And then I'll create another one called Bedrooms. And I'll leave this as plain text. I'll create one called Bathrooms. Plain text. And last but not least, Parking Spots. Plain text. Then I'll click on Save Pod. Now that I've created the custom post type of property, you'll notice over here we have the option Properties. Before we create our first property though, we do want to create a custom taxonomy. So under Pods Admin, we'll choose Add New again. We'll click on Create New. This time we'll change the content type to Taxonomy. I'm going to call this Property Type. And for plural, Property Types. And all I need to do here is go to the Advanced Options, scroll down a little bit, and I need to associate this with the new custom post type called Properties that we just created. And I'll click on Save Pod. Okay. Now that we've created our pods, let's go ahead and start creating our custom templates. Now we're going to create an archive template for our properties, and we're going to create a single property template. An archive in the world of WordPress is a page that displays many different items based on a particular criteria, like a category. And then the single property template will display single properties once we click on them from that archive page. So let's start by creating the archive template, and we can do that by going over here to Themify and clicking on Pro Templates. And we'll come up here to Add New. And for type, we want to make sure we choose Archive. And I'm going to call this Property Archive. And for display conditions, we want to include all property archives. And we'll hit Next. I'll choose blank because we're going to create this from scratch. And I'll choose Publish. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is click the green plus sign and drag in the archive title. I'll click Done. Then I'm going to create a new row. And inside this row, I want to add an Advanced Archive Posts. I'll enable masonry, and I'll go ahead and click Done. Okay, now to build out this advanced archive post module that we put in here, we can hover over it and click on this pencil icon. Now you'll notice this opens up a builder within our builder. So when we're done here, we're going to need to click Save here, click the X, and then we need to make sure to click Save again up here, okay? Because we kind of have two different builders going on here. So just remember to click Save here and up here when you're done making your changes. So let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing in our module here is a featured image, and I'm actually going to leave that there. I want that there. And the next thing is this post title. I'm actually going to delete that. And what I'm going to do is click this green plus sign, and I'm going to find post meta. Here it is. I'll drag this right on up here, right underneath the featured image. And I'm going to get rid of date and comments. And I'm just going to leave terms here, but I'm going to change it to property. Now click done. And then underneath post meta, that's where I'm going to have a post title. So I probably could have just left that post title there and just dragged this post meta on top of it, but I deleted it. So luckily it's really easy to bring it back in. We'll click the green plus, I'll find post title, and I'll just drag this on up here. Okay, we'll click done. Underneath that, I want a text module. So once again, we'll click on the plus sign, and I'm going to find the text module. Here it is. Drag this on up here. I'm going to click on this dynamic switch here, turn that on, and then I want to select custom field. And what I'm looking for here is price. So I'm just going to start typing price, and it should show up. And then text before, I'm just going to put in a $sign, and I'll click done. Then underneath that, I'm actually going to drag in a row. Okay, so I'm going to click on the green plus, scroll to the top, and I want a row with 2 columns. So I'm going to drag that up there. And I actually am going to have another one underneath that. So I'll just go ahead and click the duplicate quick. So now I have 2 rows with 2 columns in each row. So for the first one, I want a text module again. Okay, and I'm going to turn on dynamic. And I want a custom field. And this time, what I'm looking for is size. And text after, I'm going to put square feet. And click done. The next one, I'm actually going to duplicate this, drag it over, and then edit it. Instead of size, what I'm looking for in this one is the number of bedrooms. I'll duplicate this again, drag this one down here, edit it, and I'm looking for bathrooms. And last but not least is parking spots. So we'll duplicate, drag it over, edit it, and go for parking spots. Okay, and then we'll delete this post content. Now I'm going to click Save. I'll click the X, and remember to click Save again, and we'll click the X. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the front end, and we're just going to pick an archive like detached. and we'll see how it looks. So it doesn't look very nice because I haven't done any styling yet, but you can see that it is functioning. So it's pulling in the featured image for each post. It's pulling in the category, the title of the property, and then it's pulling in the price. It's pulling in the size, the number of bedrooms, number of bathrooms, and the number of parking spots. Now we do need to add labels here so people know what these numbers mean. And there's some styling that we want to do. And I'm not going to go through all the styling in this video. What I'm actually going to do is just import a pre-made module that has all the styling that we want in it. Now that you've seen how to create the functionality, I'll quickly import the styles and we'll move on to the next part. Okay, click Save, click the X, and as you can see, we didn't change any of the information, we just changed the styling. Everything looks a lot nicer than it did a minute ago, and we have labels here, but everything is still functioning exactly the way that we set up a minute ago. So now that we've done that, I think it's time to move on to creating the single post template, or I'm sorry, the single property template. To do that, we'll come up here to the Themify icon and choose Pro Templates. Then we'll click on Add New, choose Single, and give it a name. For display conditions, we want to include all property. We'll choose blank and hit Publish. Now the first thing I want to do is edit the styling for this row. And for background, I'm going to enable dynamic content and choose Post Featured Image. Make it large and choose Full Cover. I also want to go back into the styling for this row and add a little padding. Just to the top and bottom of 15%. Then I'm going to drag in a text module. I'll choose dynamic content again, and I'm going to pick custom field, and we want price. I'm going to stick a $sign before, and I'll center it. We're going to make the font size 60. Underneath that, I'm going to choose Post Title. I'll make it an H3, black, and I'll center that as well. Let's see how this looks on the front end. I'll click Save, close the builder, and I'll choose a post to look at. Okay, so it's not styled the best, but it is working. We see the price, and we see the title. We also have the featured image background. Let's go ahead and add some more content underneath. To continue editing this template, we'll simply click on Edit Template. And before I move on to the lower section, I want to go ahead and import my header just so we can have some better looking styling. That's better. Okay, on to the content of our properties. First thing I'm going to do is add a new row with 2 columns. Then I'm going to change the size of the columns so that we have a bigger one on the left and a smaller one on the right. In this left column, I'm going to add a post meta module. I'll get rid of these 2. I'll keep terms, but I'll click on it and make sure that we have property selected for the post type. Then I'll click Done, Now you can see it says detached. Underneath the post meta, I'm going to add a post title. So I'll come here to the green plus sign, find post title. I'll drag this up here underneath the post meta. And we can do some styling. I'll make the color black. And I think I'll do that for the post meta as well. I'm not going to spend a lot of time styling things, but I might take care of a few things here and there. Okay, now underneath the title, we're going to do something a little more fancy. We're going to drag in a text module. And we're going to enable dynamic content. And then we're going to click on this pencil here. We're going to choose custom field. And for the custom field, we want price. We'll type that in there, select price. And text before, I want to throw in a $sign. And we'll click done. Now we're going to get really fancy. Inside this column, we're actually going to add a row. And we're going to make it a 4-column row. If you can't quite get it where you want, just drop it anywhere, and then you can actually move stuff around afterwards. There we go. Now I have 4 columns inside this column. Now I'm going to add an image to this column. I'm going to make it this house icon. Underneath that, I want to add a plain text module. And I'm just going to say size. I'll go ahead and center it. I'm also going to center the icon. Then I'm going to add a text module. Just like before, I'm going to enable dynamic content. I'm going to choose custom field. And for this one, I'm going to choose size. For text after, I'll add square feet. And I will center this one as well. Okay. I'm going to just duplicate this. And I'll also duplicate these. And I'll go ahead and edit these quick. I'll go ahead and do the text modules again. Dynamic content, custom field, bedrooms. Dynamic content, custom field, bathrooms. And last but not least, dynamic content, custom field, and parking spots. Perfect. Next, we're going to add our post content. Go ahead and click the green plus sign, scroll up, and find post content. And click done. The last thing we want to do is we're going to put some content over here for a realtor. So a realtor would likely be the one accessing this website, adding new properties, and they would want their name and their phone number, a way to contact them, and maybe even a picture. So we're going to add that over here in this smaller column on the right. So the first thing we're going to do is click the green plus sign, and I'm just going to drag in author info. Okay, now we're going to just edit a couple things here. I'm going to choose image stack, and I'm going to go to styling, image, and I think I will just give corners. There we go, just to make it round. And maybe we can throw in a contact button underneath. So we could click the green plus sign, scroll down and find button. And we have lots of options here for styling, and we could have a contact page that we could link to. And we'll click done. Save and close it. Let's see what this looks like on the front end. Okay, looks pretty good. Like I said before, there is some more work we would want to do with styling to make this look a little better. We could use some spacing here. Could use some spacing over here, possibly center these things. But as far as functionality goes, everything is working. Each post that we click on is going to pull in the category. It's going to pull in the post title, which is the address. It'll pull in the price and the size, bedrooms, bathrooms, parking spots. And then also whichever realtor, if there are multiple realtors that have access to this website, whichever realtor created this property in the back end, their information will show up here on the right automatically, and that way people will be able to get in contact with them if they are interested in purchasing this home. So that is it for creating a custom property website using the Themify Builder Pro plugin. I hope you found this video useful, and I can't wait to see you in our next video. Thanks for watching.